gentlemen, so today we're going to be taking a look at how we can divide our numbers in exponential form, and very similar to what we did with adding, but we're going to first, you have to divide any coefficients. And remember, coefficients are the numbers out front. You're going to keep the base, and you're going to subtract the exponents. So yesterday, when we were multiplying, we added the exponents. This time, we're going to subtract the exponents. So for number one, I don't have any extra coefficients. All I have are my bases. The bases match 7s, so I'm going to keep the base. Then I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. Number 2, I don't have any coefficients, so I'm going to keep the base, negative 5. Because it's a negative, I have to make sure I put it in parentheses, and I'm going to subtract 16 minus 7, which is 9. Number 3, no coefficients out front, I just have my x's, keep the base. This time when I subtract, though, I'm going to write this one out. 5 minus negative 8. So those rules for integers that we practice are not going away. So this becomes 5 plus 8, which is 13, x to the 13th. Okay, number 4, base is 8/5. It's a fraction, so I have to make sure I put it in parentheses. 9 minus 2 is 7. Number 5, here I have two different variables, but they're just written as a fraction, and as long as it matches a over b, it's a fraction, so it's going in parentheses. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, in example number 6, now we have problems that do have those coefficients. So I'm going to do 25 divided by 5 first. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. We keep the base, which is x. And then we do 10 divided by 3, which is, 10 minus 3, which is 7. Okay, number 7. Here are my coefficients, 12 and the 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. Keep the base, w. 5 minus 2 is 3. For number 8, there are coefficients, but 6 does not go into 14 evenly. But it can be reduced. So if you can reduce it, you should reduce it, because I know that a 2 will go into both of those. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative, positive, so it's going to be a negative. Then we keep our base. Remembering, if you don't see an exponent, it's really a 1. So 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay, let's see. Can the following expressions be simplified? If yes, write an equivalent expression. So here, we're going to match up our bases. So here I have bases of 3, and then I'm going to subtract my exponents. 5 minus 2 is 3. For the bases of 2, right, I'm going to keep the base. 8 minus 3 is 5. And those are being multiplied, so we keep the multiplication symbol. So it's just making sure you match up. So same thing down here for number 10. Here I have my bases of negative 2. It's a negative, so it's going in parentheses, negatives and fractions. 7 minus 5 is 2. Then I have to do my base of 95. And then 5 minus 4 is a 1. You could write this one as well. You could just write it like this, with just 95. You don't have to put the 95 with the exponent of 1. Now, for number 11, so when I don't have a base here, I don't have the same bases. But what you want to try to do to see is, can 27 be written using a base of 3, like we did in our very first lesson? So 27 is really 3 times 3 times 3. So this problem is 3 to the 23rd over 3 to the 3rd. Now I have the same base. So now that I have the same base, keep the base, subtract your exponents, 3 to the 20th. Same thing down here. This 4 squared, 4 can be written as 2 squared. I need 2 of those because it tells me squared. So this is really 2 to the 7th over 2, add my exponents because it's multiplying, 2 to the 4th. Now I can do the rest of the problem. 7 minus 4, 2 to the 3rd. All right, let's see what we got over here. Let x be a number, simplify the expression of each of the following. All right, so we're multiplying and kind of dividing here. So I'm going to first do this, I'm going to write it as one big problem. So this is 5 times 3x to the 8th over x to the 3rd. All right, so I have to take care of the top first. I can multiply those two things together. 5 times 3 is 15. Keep the base, and this time there aren't any x's up top, so that's it. Over x to the 3rd. Now, there's a little 1 here. 15 divided by 1 is 15. Keep your base, subtract your exponents. 8 minus 3 is 5. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put this over 1. I'm going to multiply and combine this all together into one problem. So 5, negative 4x to the 6th over x to the 3rd. I can multiply those. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And I'm just copying everything else over. Now I can take care of my exponent or my variables. So negative 20, keep your base. 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay, so when you are dividing, you are subtracting your exponents. These rules are going to be very important for you to memorize. Any questions for your class? Have a good night.